Hi, my name is Kirsten Waddle. I'm here today to talk about the article that was posted on the Wall Street Journal titled, "Who's Right, Warren Buffett or Larry Fink? A debate over whether managers are underinvesting in the U.S. economy because they want to line the pockets of investors through share buybacks." Just a quick summary of what the article is discussing is that the claims are being made that managers are underinvesting in the economy to give their large investors compensation and doing through the share buybacks. So share buybacks are when a company buys back shares from other investors in order to lower the number of shares that are currently being traded. So Larry Fink, the BlackRock Inc. chairman and CEO, believes that since the companies are buying back shares at such a fast pace, that there would not be room for future growth unless some sort of balance is found. Warren Buffett, on the other hand, the Berkshire Hathaway chairman and one of the world's most successful investors, disagrees with him. He thinks that it's just a normal part of investing and essentially capitalism is doing its job. So the author states in the article a good basic explanation of where this issue really comes from. So he states, quote, "The issue of buybacks is really a puzzle about stock valuations and profits." End quote. So what he means by this is that recently the correlation between profit margins and stock prices are very low. Some companies have very high profit margins, but their stocks are worth more than all of the company's assets put together. So kind of figuring out that puzzle is something that is not necessarily easy to do, and it's not going to be the same for every single company. So one of the reasons that was discussed as to why the companies are increasing buybacks is that shareholders want quick returns. They want to see what their investments are doing, and they want to see it now. In reality, most investments don't pan out to anything tangible, and that's really the gamble you take. Another reason discussed is that it could just be the nature of the economy. There are many new companies that have very high profit margins and virtually no capital. For example, Airbnb, Uber, Lyft. The article even discusses Apple a little bit, talking about how it is more, Apple doesn't directly make any of its products. It uses different foreign companies to do the actual building, and they use more of the design elements that are directly with Apple. So because these companies have very little to no capital, they can't directly show the shareholders what their investments did. It could be conceptual, it could be developmental. There's so many different possibilities on how it could be used. So the main issue with these companies is corporate governance. So corporate governance, as defined in the text, is a mechanism used to manage the relationship among stakeholders and to determine and control strategic directions and performance of organizations. In short, it's how the company balances the interests of related parties. So shareholders, employees, board of directors, executives, and more. Some of these companies don't hold the balance that's needed and put a highly favorable attention on the large block stakeholders and executives. Basically, all the people they need to please in order to continue successful operations. But when you're doing this, the company's future and potential growth is that at the best interest? Not necessarily. With buybacks, they're looking to do what it takes to keep the shareholders and potentially increase their investment. But increase in capital is not a guarantee to increase profit or growth of the company. So, throughout the article, the author, James McIntosh, puts more emphasis on the fact that these buybacks will not solve the problems the companies are facing. McIntosh makes many points on how the correlation is not there, and there's lower shares in the market will not help. In my opinion, he's right. With executives using these methods to control the market, they won't have authentic growth. They'll only manipulating the wealth. So they want to pay back those large block shareholders to get them to stick around and want to continue being a portion of the company when they could very well start their own company with the funds they've invested. Which leads me to my conclusion. To where I leave you, I ask one question: which side do you believe is right, Warren Buffett or Larry Fink?